Hey, this is Tyler, TJAC Survival and Survival Dispatch. I want to talk to you a little bit about planning trips to locations you've never been and having data in your mind so that you don't need a map. Not saying I'm not bringing them, just saying there's ways to get around them. This video is going to be a little bit longer. There's a lot of information and it's kind of conceptual. It's not like concrete data that I want to put out. So I've got my notes here. Usually, if I go to a place that I've never been before, oftentimes I'm going to research it on Google Earth or Gaia Maps or Caltopo or something before I go to that location. I really like Google Earth, and the main reason is because it's a mixture of topographical data and satellite data. And I can actually zoom down in the canyon and get the actual perspective that I'll have when I go to that location, which is super phenomenal. So if we start out here with Google Earth, where I'm gonna go to Desolation Canyon. Oh, not California, but Utah. This is a good place that I'm going to start because many years ago, I went rafting in Desolation Canyon. I'd never been there before. What I really wanted to know is if and where major forks in the river were at so that I knew to go right or left. So I know if I can find my put-in location, find my get-out location, and anywhere in between, I can write right. The first one's right, second one's the left, whatever. I was able to have that in my mind. So if I zoom down inside of Desolation Canyon here, and I spin it around and I lay back, right there is the perspective. And you can literally start at your put-in point. You can drive along Desolation Canyon. I'm gonna go through this hill real quick. All right. You can fly along the river, and if you really want a close-up of what is going on right there, people have dropped data points right here, or pictures of what the rapid looks like. Now, the image of Google Earth right here has a decent looking rapid, but it looks kind of sad because you're not getting the sitting in the water perspective. So if you grab a couple of these pictures, someone's taken a picture of this. Granted, I don't know what the water level is or anything, but I'm gonna know there's a good boulder field there. It goes from deep here to shallow, and I can kind of get a basic idea. So as I get cruising along this canyon, maybe I get to a place that I've recorded that there's a campsite and I want to look at a hiking area next to it. If this is something that would be there, right there is a hiking area to the right and left. This one is a bad example because that looks like water runoff. But maybe this rapid right here, I want to camp to the left of it and I want to know what is upstream. Am I going to get flash flooded in the middle of the night? Well, in this case, right there, yeah, it's probably a bad place to go because you're going to get flash flooded. I've even been able to go to locations and recognize very prolific natural features based on looking down Google Earth to figure out, what it is. So if I can find the takeout here, there it is. Nefertiti is a fairly common known geographical feature. So I've been able to recognize natural places on Google Earth and then see what it looks like if I'm sitting in the raft. Right here is a quick little picture of Nefertiti. And if you look right at the dead center, that little outcropping is a nose and it's supposed to look like Nefertiti. Now, that is the thing you see right in the dead center is that outcropping. And if you're able to get low enough, you should be able to see what the actual feature looks like from the perspective of the raft, right? So if I'm coming around this corner, I'm coming around this bend, I know that there's going to be a campsite on the left, there's a turnaround on the left where the road ends, and then that'll kind of help me to recognize visually what it is that I'm looking for as I cruise down here along this raft route. Desolation Canyon is one location that I researched before I went. Colombia, being the jungle, is also another location that I researched before I went. The thing that I was looking for is major natural features, because if you got lost in the jungle, all you can really do is walk north, south, east, or west until you run into a road or a river or something, and then handrail it. The problem is if you mess it up and you're following the wrong river, you're going to get so lost, you're going to die out there. So when I went to Colombia, Leticia, Colombia. A few years ago, I went to this city right here, Leticia, Colombia. We went north of the city up into the Amazon. Now, without getting too specific, if I know the city is right here and I look straight north of it, there's only two things that I'm seeing other than that border, which is going to disappear. One is the road, and the other is this big, giant river. Now, I know I went to the end of this road and then continued north into the jungle. And that's a massive amount of space. So if I start walking east, if I've got a little compass, that guy right there, this is the little compass that I use in the Colombian jungle. So let's say, for instance, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll take a heading of due east, go 100 feet out into the jungle, do what I gotta do, take another heading of due west, go 100 feet out of the jungle, go 100 feet back in the direction where I came from. I should end up where I started. Let's say some nasty something happens. I don't know, a terrorist attack, everybody dies, whatever. My absolute fallback plan is going to be walk straight west until I hit the Amazon River. And I have knowledge in my mind right now of the fact that the location that I'm going to has nothing but jungle between me and a river that is almost a mile wide. I can't really screw that up. If I've got a little river in between it, I know I've got to cross it. When I get to the big giant river, all I have to do is ride it downstream. So all I have to do is ride this thing downstream, and no matter what branch I take, they all end up right here by the city that I started at, which is called Leticia. Another example of a place that I've been to is the Uintas. I go to this location regularly, and the weird thing about it, or the unique thing about it, is the fact that it is a mountain range that runs east and west, unlike the other mountain ranges in Utah that run north and south. So from a macro perspective, if I get completely lost and I go north, it's going to be a massive hike, and it might be a few days, but eventually I'm going to run straight into the road up in Wyoming. Let's say that I'm right here in the Uinta Mountains, and I'm going to go to Mount Haystack, or Haystack Mountain. Right there is Haystack Mountain. Now, if I'm hiking in the front of Haystack Mountain, in this case, it'll be on the southeast side of Haystack Mountain, and if I haven't reached over the top of the peak, as long as I go south, southeast, or southwest, I'm going to run into the road. If for some reason I go any other direction, I have to climb up and over the entire mountain, and then it'll be nothing but downhill until Wyoming. However, that's a substantially longer distance to travel than if I just go south or southwest or southeast. Now, I like more specific knowledge and really small geographical information. For that, you really need a map. However, what I'm talking about right now is the fail-safe plan. What do I do if everything goes wrong and I'm completely messed up and I only have the general north, south, east, west based on the sun's positioning? Or I only have a GPS watch, whatever, right? I've lost all my maps, I'm completely screwed up. Just a little bit of local knowledge will tell me what general direction I need to head in. This is almost 90 degrees of pathway that I can choose from and still get it right. I'm gonna run into that road. Then when I run into the road, I'm either gonna hitchhike or see something that I recognize and turn and follow that road until I get to the place where I parked my vehicle. Now, I can't do that if I didn't do a little bit of research before I went out to the location. So for this part, you get the general idea. Go to Google Earth, find out where you're gonna go or where the bowl or valley is that you're gonna be, figure out what's north, south, east, or west, and what you're gonna do in case you get lost. You're gonna walk in X direction until you run into a road and then hitchhike or figure your way out. You're gonna walk west in Colombia until you hit the Amazon River and stay on it until you see a city and you're home. You're gonna walk north until you get to Wyoming, or south until you get to one of the main roads, or in this case, west until you get to where you came from, and then you can get your way out.